Welcome. Unit 3, Galileo 6th Standard Part 1, English First Language Part 1. As per 2024-2025 Karnataka State Board Syllabus, rereading task. Answer the questions your teacher asks you. A. Name some heavenly bodies. Heavenly bodies are natural objects in space. Some examples include stars like the Sun, Proxima, Centauri, and Sirius. Planets such as Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Moons, for example, Earth's moon and Jupiter's Europa. Asteroids like Ceres and Vesta. Comets such as Halley's Comet and Comet Neowise. Nebulae like the Orion Nebula and the Crab Nebula. Galaxies, for instance, the Milky Way and Andromeda. Black holes such as Sagittarius A star, the black hole at the center of the Milky Way. B. What is astronomy? Astronomy is scientific study of celestial objects of space and the universe as a whole. It explores phenomena beyond Earth's atmosphere, including stars, planets, moons, galaxies, nebulae, black holes, and cosmic events like supernova and eclipses. Astronomers use telescopes, satellites, and other instruments to observe and analyze these objects and events, aiming to understand their properties, origins, and behaviors. It's an awe-inspiring field that spans topics like the formation of the universe, the nature of time and space, and the potential for life beyond Earth. Fascinating, right? See, name an Indian astronomer. One renowned Indian astronomer is Aryabhatta. He was a mathematician and astronomer from 5th and 6th centuries, known for his significant contributions to Indian astronomy and mathematics. His works, such as Aryabhatta, include calculations of planetary motions and the value of pi. D. What is planetarium? There is a one in Karnataka. Where is it? Planetarium is a theater built primarily for presenting educational and entertaining shows about astronomy and the night sky. It often features a dome shaped screen where projections of stars, planets, and other celestial objects create a realistic simulation of the universe. In Karnataka, you can visit Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium located in Bengaluru. It's situated at 3 T. Chaudhaya Road, High Grounds, Bengaluru, Karnataka 56001 near Indira Gandhi Musical Fountain. E. What instrument do astronomers use? Astronomers use various instruments to study celestial objects and phenomena. The most common and vital ones include telescopes. These are the primary tools used to observe distant stars, planets, galaxies, and other cosmic features. They come in different types, like optical telescopes for visible light and radio telescopes for detecting radio waves. Spectrographs. Used with telescopes, they analyze the spectrum of light emitted by celestial bodies to determine their composition, temperature, and motion. Cameras. Advanced cameras are attached to the telescopes to capture images of astronomical objects. Binoculars. While not as powerful as telescopes, astronomers and stargazers often use binoculars for simpler observations. Space probes and satellites. These are used to explore and collect data from objects in space, such as planets and moons. Computers and software, essential for analyzing collected data, modeling celestial phenomena, and simulating space events. 1. It is common knowledge today that Earth is a planet revolving around the Sun. But there was a time not many centuries ago when even learned men believed that the earth was fixed in space and the sun and all other heavenly bodies went round it. The man who first brought to light the facts about them was a great scientist and astronomer called Galileo Galilei. He was born in the year 1564 in Italian town of Pisa. 2. In the year 1608, a man called Hans Lippershey, native of Holland, invented the telescope, the instrument with which the astronomers watch the skies. The telescope made distant objects appear to be near and magnified several times over. 3. When Galileo heard about the invention, he became greatly interested in it. He had at this time begun to study astronomy, and he saw that the invention would be a wonderful aid to the astronomer. He set to work on making a telescope for himself and very soon succeeded in making one which was better than the one Lippershey had made. 4. Galileo's telescope was the first that was ever turned towards the stars. Looking through it, he saw 100 times as many stars as he could see with his bare eyes. He looked at the Milky Way, the broad white band of light seen across the sky at night, and found that it contained millions and millions of the faint stars. He turned the telescope on the moon. What he saw filled him with amazement. On the moon's surface, which seems so smooth, he saw high mountains and deep valleys like those on the earth. Fifth, greatly excited by these discoveries, Galileo carried his telescope to Venice and showed it to the learned men of that city. The people of Venice crowded at his house to have a look at the looking tube. They took it to the top of high buildings and looked through it at the ships out in the sea. They saw ships 50 miles away appearing to be only 15 miles off. When the ruler of Venice was shown the instrument, he was greatly pleased with the invention and appointed Galileo professor for life at the University of Padua. The first telescope that Galileo made magnified objects 3 times their size. Later, he made one that magnified them 8 times. But he went on working on larger and larger ones until he made a telescope which brought objects 30 times nearer. 7. With the aid of this telescope, he made important discoveries about heavenly bodies. He found that planet Jupiter had a little moons that revolved around it. He found that the sun had spots on it and that spots slowly moved across its face. He found from this that the sun, like the earth, spins round itself. 8. Some 50 years earlier, Polish astronomer called Copernicus had declared that Earth was a planet like the other planets and that, like them, it revolved round the sun. Copernicus could not, however, prove this to the man of his day, and few people paid any great attention to his ideas. Ninth, Galileo was the first great student of astronomy to realize that the ideas of Copernicus were true, and the first scholar to begin to teach them at the university. His new teaching caused great excitement among the learned men because it meant that all their teaching was completely wrong. They began to oppose him, and many of them became his enemies. Then he got into trouble with the church. His ideas about the sun and the earth were different from that the Bible seemed to say. So the followers of the church began to look upon him as a wicked and dangerous man. 10. The church had in those days a court called the Inquisition, which tried and punished those that it considered unbelievers. Galileo was asked to appear before his court. He was questioned about his beliefs and was asked to kneel and declare that he no longer believed that earth moved around the sun. He knew that if he refused to make this declaration, he might be put in prison and perhaps tortured. As he feared torture, Galileo obeyed their order. There is a story that as he rose from his knees after his public declaration, he whispered to himself, but still it does move. The court ordered Galileo not to teach his wicked ideas anymore. 11. But Galileo did not obey the church's order for long. He continued his studies and after a time started teaching his ideas again. Besides, he wrote a book in which he criticized the old beliefs. When the book came out, the Inquisition once again ordered him to appear before it to be tried as non-believer. After a long trial, he was sent to prison, but as he was now an old man, he was allowed to go home 22 days later. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and save the playlist. Thank you very much. Bye bye.